Okay. Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is still GH today here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. It's now time for the breakfast review. This morning is the Battle of the Esquires. My guest this morning, Kwame Jantua Esquires, the leading member of the Convention People's Party, Osman Ayariga Esquire is the CEO of the National Youth Authority, and Kwesi Kwarteng Esquire is a private legal practitioner and a member of the NPP communications team. He's the man who's connected. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Who himself connected now? Your producer just intentionally brought only topics about Dr. Bawumia. But anyway, we'll discuss.
But you're a member of the NPP communications team.
Certainly. Of course. I mean, I admire Dr. Bawumia so much. He was our flag bearer. So at no point will I make any pronouncement that will not put him in a good light. I mean, he was our flag bearer. We've not even got into the times of the primary, so certainly I will
So it means that your mind can change at any time, right?
In terms of who I support?
Yes.
No, that one I've made my decision. I mean, that's the beauty of democracy.
Exactly.
People may have their own decisions based on how they view things. He's a fine candidate, very fantastic man. But I mean, I will restrain myself from you drawing me into
his candidature.
Yes,
we're not talking about Dr. Bawumia's candidature, at least not now.
Yes.
Let's talk about the floods. I mean, it's Ghana's annual problem. Every time it rains, is a broken record. We know that we're expecting floods. We know that certain people will be displaced. We know that properties will be lost. So it's like same script, different dates, different names, but the same thing every year. What is it that we're missing? We've so many interventions over the period. As far back as 2007, we had the National Water Policy, we've had GHOne, we've had all the policies. And in March, President Mohammed formed a special task force to look at the flooding situation to be able to mitigate it. Will this change anytime soon? Let me start with you, Mr. Jantua. Today I'm starting with you.
You always start with me.
Yes. No, usually I start from here. But today I want to start from you.
You always start with me. It's because I'm sitting opposite you. Easy pray. Good morning.
Good morning.
But when you were introducing everybody as Squire, you left yourself out.
Oh, but I am not. Mr. Jantua, let's talk about flooding.
You left yourself out. You are a budding Esquire. Are you not?
Oh, let's talk about flooding.
Incoming Esquire.
Kwesi, let's talk about flooding, please.
Let me go off track just one bit. Something is happening in Accra today. Just like the floods. Keeps coming and going, keeps coming and going.
What is happening?
The mayor, what is he doing?
Oh.
He's trying to drive away people who are selling on the pavements.
It's
like floods, isn't it?
It's
comes and goes. Comes and goes.
It's like the floods.
Like the floods.
It's like the rains. We expect it all the time.
So let me ask the question. Who causes that?
Who causes that?
Yes. They're coming and going.
Policy direction.
Is it policy direction?
We're failing to stick to it.
No, the policy is there. It's the people who cause it.
Really?
Isn't it?
Is it not enforcement of the policy direction?
Well, we are not enforcing the policy direction, but isn't it the people? The people know that it is wrong to sell on the pavement.
If we enforce it, then the people will not do it.
The people know you're not supposed to sell on the pavement. There is law, there's regulation, and you know, so you won't do it.
Mr. Jantua, are we then saying that people know that they are not supposed to do certain things? When they do it, it's against the law. So when we have people doing it, then we're saying that, okay, people know. So the law is the law. Let's enforce the law.
The law is the law, but we don't enforce it. And I'm saying that the fact that we don't enforce it doesn't mean it should be done.
True.
Similarly with flooding. Who caused them?
It's not just the people. It's a myriad.
Go to the areas that...
It's a myriad of issues.
Go to the areas that have flooded and find out whether there has been planning in terms of how properties have been built.
No, and who caused them?
Somebody would build their house in a waterway. They know it's a waterway. It's against the law, isn't it?
But who permits them?
Why?
People who need permit to build.
The fact that somebody permits you doesn't mean it is right. Lily, you're not getting. Maybe you're doing
No,
your journalistic thing.
I do. I do get
The
your point.
fact that
But I am
people-
saying that, okay, granted,
Will
people know
somebody
that
build?
it is.
Wait, will somebody build their house in the middle of the road?
Oh, of course not.
They wouldn't.
Well, some people
What?
have. I mean, I've had a few guests come here and talk about it. Some people have
And why?
because they were granted. They were granted.
Is
that
it because
permission.
they were granted?
Yes.
When they identified where they want to build their property, and they knew it was in the middle of the road, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
You are insane, obviously.
It is wrong. It is wrong for me to do this.
It is not, a sane person will not do that, so you're insane.
I said, it is wrong for me to do this. Even when you are not a religious person, your instinct will tell you when you do something that isn't right. That this thing I'm doing is not right, so I should stop. Do we not throw rubbish in the drains? Let's put government responsibility aside and let's look at ourselves. Do we not throw rubbish in the drains?
We have people doing
Do we not mount...
Even on Sunday, people were doing that.
Do we not mount rubbish and do nothing about it? Do we not?
We do.
So who are we blaming? Who are we blaming?
Everybody
We are
but
blaming
ourselves.
government. We are blaming authorities, but ourselves. When we are the major cause of some of these challenges. Some of the challenges are natural. So, when you get heavy rains in the Bri area, the water washes down.
Yeah.
As it washes down, it needs to find its level, it needs to find its way. Have we not built in those areas where that water needs to come in? Have we built there? So, we come to the people who give permits. Why would they give permits for such a thing? Are you telling me they don't know? Are you telling me there's not a map of Accra as to where things should be built and things shouldn't be built? Are you telling me that isn't there? Is there no special planning for Accra itself, or there is special planning but a year to baby? And then we point fingers at government. Yes, we are supposed to do what? Enforce the law. Are we enforcing the law? This particular situation of flooding, is it today's problem?
No.
Let's take this Fourth Republic. Hasn't floods taken over our country every time it rains? When I was growing up, when it rained, you were happy. When it rained, you were happy. You danced in the rain till the rain stopped. Today, when it rains, we am shisho.
Sure.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. Small rain. Was it Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Small rain. Oh. Small rain. Look at what happened.
And Ghana Meteo says we should brace ourselves for more.
Yeah, between now and the end of June. But why is it that every year we go through this challenge and we can't solve it? Why? You mean, so during the dry season, what happens? We go to bed. There's a country that is below sea level. Holland. Go and see whether the place floods the way ours flood during rainy season. And we've got to start enforcing the law. President Mohammed says any building that is built in a waterway or in areas that collect water will be broken down. I'm waiting to see that it happens. I'm waiting to see that it happens. It cannot be mere rhetoric just to satisfy the ears of people, just to satisfy the ears of the population. I want to see it happen. And I want to see actions taken to make sure it happens. I was expecting, when he said that, the people who are responsible, who will be responsible to do this, should start putting action in place and let the people know these are the actions we are taking towards what the president said. And not let it happen before they start rushing. Hasn't it happened? Isn't it likely for more to happen? After the rains on Sunday, I drove to go and buy petrol. A lot of the roads had water logging on it. A lot of the roads. And you could see that people's cars were submerged. Apart from being submerged, they were parking on the side because they couldn't move. If you are not driving a vehicle that is higher, that can go through the water, you're in trouble. Something has to be done. And I hope this government would now put action in place for people to see that they are serious. Because why do we go through this every year? Tell me. We know the rains are coming. Why do we go through it every year? Why do the people let... Well, it's a broken record, but something has to be done, Lily. We can't continue this way. I heard somebody say flooding has been happening since 1930 in this country, and we haven't been able to do anything. Can we not even channel the water for something positive? Can we not? So why do we just sit and wait? Osman, you're head of where?
National Youth Authority.
National Youth Authority. There are people who have been put in place, especially where such things are happening. Let's see them work. Let's see them do something. And if they don't do it, horn them out and bring somebody new. Because the floods in this country have destroyed a lot of people's homes. I was listening on the radio what some people were saying, that government should come and help them. Because these floods, they don't know what to do. And I understand some of the water in some areas was at lentil level. Yeah. How is that possible? How? There are certain places in this country, especially areas like West Legon, where the subsoil is clay. So the water tends to stagnate for a while before it sinks in. And when it rains heavily, flooding is everywhere. We understand that. But then, should there not have been a plan in terms of how you direct the water? Where this, they say, is the tallest building in Accra. That building opposite the mall. Apparently, that was a... Villaggio. Apparently, that was a catchment area for water coming from a bridge. That is what I understand. They've now built properties there. High rise. And so water comes in and has nowhere to go. And water will find its level. And you find it all on the roads. So who has put these things, who allowed these things to be happening? Don't you think we should go back and look at those people who gave those permits and deal with them also? Shouldn't we do that? Because we don't seem to want to enforce the law.
True.
In this country, it looks as if personalities come before the law. It looks as if people come before the law. It is wrong. The law should be seen to be working. Because apparently some of the lights out on Sunday had got to do with NADMO instructing.
Yes. The ECG.
The ECG to turn off the electricity. And they can't turn off just one small area. They'll have to turn a huge area off. Doesn't that inconvenience all of us? Because I slept in darkness on Sunday. And my place didn't flood. So really, something should be done about it.
Right. Osman, does it appear that your government is on a committee forming spree? Because we're seeing a new task force being formed by President Mohammed to oversee the mitigation of flooding. President Mohammed was president in 2015 when we had the June 3 disaster, which claimed a lot of lives and destroyed property. He was booted out of office. He went to do his homework. Does it appear he didn't do his homework well?
Lily, good morning to you. Good morning to my brothers, and good morning to your cherished viewers. I would want to first and foremost sympathize with the people and families who were affected by the rains that developed floods on Sunday night. I've had to receive calls from persons to come to their rescue. We had to also coordinate most of the NADMO operations on Sunday night. And I must also say good job done by the NADMO coordinators, their deputies, and their operations guys on Sunday nights. Also with most of the municipal, metropolitan, and district chief executives who also joined the rescue mission on Sunday night. I must say they did a good job. And again, to the families, at least we can just sympathize with those who lost property, those who have been displaced, and those who also lost loved ones. Because I think somewhere in Adenta has been some deaths and some individuals have lost their lives. Lily, the government is just 5 months old. And if you say we are on a committee formation spree, I think you are being unfair to the government, because
How
of
so?
course, for you to tackle any issue, you need to put that human resource together. You need to put the human beings together to execute your plan, and it could come either in the form of a board, in the form of a committee, in the form of a task force. So the task force is the body that is expected to execute a particular mandate. So of course, it is just proper that committees are formed, task force are formed. And based on our experience in the previous administration, that is why His Excellency, as soon as he assumed office, he didn't wait for the reins to start before we set up a task force that's been headed by the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of operations. If you remember, there was a task force that was formed to really look at the entire system so that we could prevent the floods that we've experienced in past years. So you realize that this is a government that is obviously working. In the recent flood, you would realize that hitherto, in most of the places where we experience heavy floods, which are noted for flood, example like the Circle area, the Odo River, you realize that so much emphasis was placed on those areas. So once you place so much emphasis on the areas which are noted for or prone towards flood, then you tackle them. So you realize that in last 2 nights' rain, the floods around Odo, around Circle, has reduced significantly. Same with areas around, I think the Wija areas has also reduced significantly compared to previous rains. So that should tell you that the government is working and tackling the flooding issues.
But it doesn't mean
now,
those places were not flooded.
Yeah, but that's why I chose my words carefully. As I realize that it has reduced significantly. It is a building process.
Okay.
And for us to get to this level of flood, it has been caused by many years of activities and improper planning, especially with regards to our spatial planning. And I think, if my memory serves me right, this is the first time I have seen such flooding around the Adenta, New Legon areas. Because I remember with the areas such as School Junction, where we had the bridge. It used to be a very small bridge. I think there was some reconstruction in the previous government, and they even expanded the size of that bridge. Those who live there know what I'm talking about. I think it's School Junction and the Estate Gate area. And I think 2 nights rain also, the volumes of water that gushed into that bridge made the bridge fail, and that made most of the water find its way into homes of individuals. I mean, there's no justification whatsoever so far as flooding is concerned. And I don't want us to go into the political ping pong of this person didn't do this person didn't do that, this person didn't do this. We are currently at the helm of affairs, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is working towards that. He's working assiduously to make sure that the flooding issues of Accra, not only Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, Tamale, should be a thing of the past. And that is why there's been that budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Works and House and Water to make sure that we are able to go into the construction of drains. And also with the hydrological service too, His Excellency has assured that they'll be given the needed budgetary support, they'll be given the needed budgetary allocation and the resource mobilization to make sure that they are able to construct the drains that are needed to be able to sustain most of these floods and the water that comes whenever there's a downpour. Now, to the issue of the assemblies, His Excellency has also stated that there will be some KPIs, especially for the various municipal district assemblies. And one thing that will stand tall would be the ability to clean their various assemblies. So if the assemblies are able to clean their various assemblies and make sure that most of these waterways or drains are desilted, then of course we'll be making headway. And that will also include also controlling human activity to making sure that people do not just dump rubbish into most of these waterways. So as I said, the government is working very hard to make sure that most of these floods do not occur again. It's rather unfortunate that in the first 4 months of His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed's tenure, of which even in the first 2 months we put together a task force to make sure that we are able to stop or prevent most of these floods. It just happened that it's reoccurred. But we can assure that we are working assiduously, we're working very hard to make sure that no life is lost as a result of just rains. We also hope that with regards to human activities, we'll be able to, people would be able to appreciate and understand that your activities can either affect us positively or negatively, especially with building structures. Mr. Janta spoke about the fact that some people build on waterways. Yeah, some people actually build on roads. And sometimes you can be moving and you realize it's a dead end, when in actual fact there isn't supposed to be a dead end there. So you realize that someone has actually built and the person has a permit. So the question is, who granted the person a permit? Which engineer allowed that to happen? Which assembly allowed that to happen? But we live in a human institution where people, one way or the other, just find a way of getting away with things, when at the end of the day is the majority of people on the other side who are vulnerable and have not committed any offense, rather suffer it. So we will just plead with the families who have lost lives to we sympathize with them, and we are working assiduously to make sure we prevent most of these floods. Yeah.
Percy?
Yeah. Good morning once again, and good morning to our viewers as well. I want to take a cue from my senior and also sympathize with the affected families. I don't know as at now whether there have been lives lost yet.
Yes, 5 people are reported.
It's quite unfortunate. I mean, we understand that there are sometimes that you may have some of these inevitable natural occurrences, but it appears this one is something which is so predictable that we may be able to do something about it. But before I go on the flood discussion, I want to use the opportunity to just make one appeal. I made a write-up just last night, and this morning I'm sharing it, and it's about opening the doors to dignity. And my case is that it's backward to keep public washrooms under key and lock. It's something that maybe our attention has not come on as a people. But when it comes to the use of public washrooms, especially if we look at our, the geographical realities and how all of us, one way or the other, we are confronted with nature's call. And sometimes you walk to the nearby public institution and the only thing they tell you is that that space is locked. You are not a staff here. And there's ramifications or consequences on public health, on sanitation, and everything. I'm of the view that it's a campaign that all of us, we need to start to drive. Of course, I've heard arguments that when you allow public washrooms to be used by the public, they may not maintain it well. But I always maintain that no country in the world has a maintenance culture. What they do have has always been a maintenance budget and maintenance personnel. So even if we have to commercialize the public washrooms. I remember one time I was in London and I needed to use these train stations, the washrooms. You go there, you swipe your card, you get deducted, they debit you, and then you use it. And that is even a form of revenue. Yes, and then, yes, so at the end of the day, it's even a way of generating money. But because withholding urine or anything for that long has even some health challenges. And as a people, maybe it's because, I don't know whether we are shy to discuss that because it's borders on privacy and nature's call. We have not been really advocates of that, but it's something that is affecting us. And I am of the view that I want to start a campaign on this platform. I'm sure when I have the opportunities on other platforms too, I'll talk about them. That is about time that we need to open public washrooms to the public so that at every point, anywhere you park, you know that this school, I can use it. Even if we have to commercialize it, let's use it. Yeah. Now, on flood, I don't know, because I am sure Nana Jantwa is quite old in terms of experience and in terms of age, and will bear with me that when it comes to the flood conversation, I am sure even when maybe during President Rawlings' time it was discussed, President Kufuor's time, same discussion, President Mills up to this time, same discussion.
It was
So,
during President Kufuor's time that there was the policy, water policy.
So I mean, as I sit here, I just even felt not to even talk about it, because I felt like whichever way, next year we'll still come to even discuss the same thing, and whatever you say may not even go anywhere. But I'm happy with Osman's presentation, especially how he depoliticized it, because, I mean, bottom line is that we are all tired of politicizing this whole flood discussion, because you never know when you even become a victim. And it may not even be your own creation, but a decision by somebody to build in a water runway, a decision by somebody not to observe, or in terms of the general performance on sanitation laws, somebody not going by it, you may even be a victim of that. So I'm happy when he said that some of these discussions, we should not politicize it. But there is one trend that probably our attention has also not gone on as a people, especially when it comes to Accra. There is a creeping elitism culture where almost everyone now have to tile his house or concrete it instead of leaving spaces for the water to drain. I don't know whether it's a culture of elitism, because Nana Jantwa, and I'm sure all of us has had the experience to travel. If you go to other jurisdictions, every house has a garden. So automatically...
Is it really elitism? Sometimes it's space. People want more space.
I think,
but you can still get space with the bare land and planting grasses.
On this matter, Kwesi, let me just...
Very well.
A bit of my expertise
Very
as an
well.
architect
I'll be glad.
and a special design person. You see, building regulations, when you build your house, now the space around the house, 60% of it is supposed to be soft landscape. That is grass, trees, and 40% of it should be hard landscape.
Do we have such laws here?
Yes. It's part of the building regulation. That is what is supposed. So 60% of your compound is supposed to be soft landscape for trees, grass, to allow for the seepage, as you said. And 60% of it should be grass, and 40% to allow for the car to park. But Lily said something. It's due to space.
Yes.
So you realize that everyone is trying to, tile the whole compound. It's trying to pave the whole compound just to find space to be able to park. And they're going to put 2 or 3 flower pots around
Exactly.
it.
In actual sense, I disagree with the space. In actual sense, move to most of the elite communities, Cantonment, East Legon, and you realize that it's now that's why I use that it's almost becoming like an elitism culture where people have to prove their wealth and their riches by tiling the whole house. So most times it's not a problem of space, but it has more to do with
I've arrived.
I've arrived mentality to prove a point that Papa will if you are tally hole. And you know the interesting thing, they tile the whole place and leave some small spaces
in between
and put some green artificial grasses.
Even that is not natural grass, artificial
grasses there. So I don't know where this whole thing is coming from. But bottom line is that, like I indicated in my earlier submission, it's
mindset.
Yes, but no country develops based on relying on entirely on mindset, attitude, or culture. At the end of the day, there have to be some enforcement and regulations. But we all have to admit that when it comes to general performance on certain soft laws, we have not performed satisfactorily there. And I've always...
Do you think that no country does that?
In terms of the enforcement of...
No, in terms of making sure that the houses are built in a particular way.
You dare not do that in UK. You must have a garden.
And but you know why the UK houses are built the way they are built. And you know why they use paving blocks to build that. It's because of the climate and the weather.
Okay.
It's because of the winter. So the houses are together. So they believe that heat transfers through the houses. So they are semi-detached houses. They're detached. But most houses are not semi-detached. They are all together. And they use brick because brick is easy, not to get the cold weather, it holds heat and it holds, you know, in our countries, for instance, if you build with brick, inside is cooler.
Yeah.
There, if you build with brick, inside is warmer.
Yeah.
So there is a plan to it.
Exactly, and that's why I'm sure the area experts,
architects, yeah.
they're also telling us that when it comes to our jurisdiction, 60% of the land was supposed to at least be left bare to cover
And then
grass.
if you are building your house, who's supposed to come and make sure that this
Is that
law
not why we are having the discussion? That when it comes to our general performance on enforcement of some of these soft laws, because I mean, you see, when we our understanding of laws, it has more to do with enforcement on corruption laws, enforcement on criminal laws.
yeah.
Even when they see you as a lawyer, or many people
they
think that you are defending criminals. Yeah, you are defending criminals. they don't even also know that you even serve as an advocate. For instance, this issue about the open doors, not closing public washrooms, that is in dignity and back walls. They don't even know that it's also even part of your duty as a lawyer. It's some of these discussions. Now, when it comes to our enforcement on our performance, when it comes to enforcement of certain soft laws, look at the last time I made a point here that, for instance, the easiest way to break a road safety law in Ghana is just to buy a Land Cruiser. If we are not even... Yes.
And the government people...
It's the government people. Do they say that even when the private...
It's just the government people. Now private individuals are buying Land Cruisers.
But
when people see them, they assume that, there are people in
because
power.
they say the peace. But you see, in Ghana here, how many people can ordinarily buy Land Cruisers as their main cars or private cars? It's very rare. Mostly those of them who have it, I mean, have bought it from government. I mean, you understand. But I don't have one.
Well, which government?
I'm sure you have bought one. I'm sure you haven't bought
No,
one.
I don't have. I don't drive a Land Cruiser. I drive a pickup and a Highland. I don't drive a...
You don't own a Land Cruiser, or you don't drive a Land Cruiser?
I don't even own one.
Okay.
I don't own one. It's okay. You don't force me to... I'm not a public official. Don't force me to
Right, man.
declare my assets.
Osman is
Osman is the one to declare his
Osman
assets.
is saying one right
But
now.
he has a Land Cruiser which was given to him.
He's a big
Right?
man.
He's a big man.
Is it,
The first day he went to office, he went to the... he had 5 Land Cruisers following. I remember. We had the video. Then I don't want to play with you.
but
You let me play.
let's just talk about the flood.
So like, I mean, in ending, my point is that when it comes to our general performance on enforcement of certain laws, i.e. sanitation laws, road safety laws, our environmental protection laws, is very low. And I mean, bottom line is that we can also leave it to our conscience or attitude or our culture. At the end of the day, leadership must also intervene, because I recall my auntie my auntie was married to one young man, and when he came home, he drank water just through the rubber just inside the hall. And my auntie asked a question that, who you as a Kabeya deal with? Then he became conscious of himself, that in US he can't do same, but here he can do that because of enforcement. So when it comes to enforcement, I'm sure the whole thing boils down to that. If you leave people to their conscience, if you lead people to their attitude, if you expect people to have some form of maintenance culture, certainly they won't do it. You have to get personnel for it. You have to get budgetary allocations for it. But even with all what I'm saying, I don't believe that anything will change even next year. I don't believe, and not because I don't trust the current administration, but as a people, we need to take a collective responsibility that when it comes to the war against flooding, we've not prioritized it enough. We've had conversations about the economy. We've used the how do you call it, the forex exchange for campaign before. When it comes to education, on job market, we've used it before. But it appears when it comes to flooding, it's not become a topical priority. Maybe it's also because it's seasonal. Yes, it's not become a national conversation. Maybe it's also because it's seasonal. When it comes after all, some 1 month, 2 months, it be a bit chemako. So, I mean, after all, what is the point? So, it's about time that maybe some of you media houses should also help us. That will make it quite topical. Let's press on leadership. Let's demand accountability. Let's set KPIs. And let's mark ourselves when it comes to what we've done. Because other than that, we may, in the next 4, in the next 8, in the next 16, 20 years, I mean, irrespective of which government comes into power, we'll still be having this whole flood conversation. But in ending, like I earlier indicated, the whole point boils down to enforcement of the laws. And we must also admit that we've not prioritized it enough. And we must also admit that as a people, when it comes to enforcement on some soft laws, our general performance has been low. And I am hoping that, of course, I do not expect President Mahama to do magic when it comes to the fight against this whole flood. But at least reasonably within the space that he's had the 4 years, we are all praying that he does something also very remarkable. At least he can pick one point. It could be the enforcement of these are special laws. It could also even be the construction of the drainage, so that we know that within his 4 years he did this. Other government that comes also take it from there.
Now, yesterday, a very critical point was raised about the National Disaster Management Organization, where we need to depoliticize it, such that persons who are well versed in managing these issues or who have the knowledge on disaster management will be put at the helm of affairs. And so there is no, this person comes in after 4 years or after 8 years, and then there's a new director general, but a constant person who rises through the ranks. Do you think it's time for that, Mr. Janta?
When was the flooding at Circle? Was it May?
June 3.
June
3, 2015.
What did we say?
Never again.
This thing, never again, won't happen again. Are we not getting flooding? It's not got to do with somebody with experience. Somebody might have experience. Are they able to impact that experience in decision making? Because you tend to find that decision making is mostly political. I don't understand why today we still build narrow drains. I don't understand why today we can't cover our drains. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. We should be able to move with the times, because my growing up is different from today. The population when I was growing up was small. Population today in Ghana is what? 32 million
About
people?
33.
33 million people? And that 33 million people comes with responsibility, comes with added people, plenty, added work, added drainage, comes with all these things. In certain countries, they've been able to do away with what? Plastic water, what do you call it? Sachet
Plastics
water.
in general.
Plastics in general. And the fact that somebody has experience, even when that person tries to enforce the experience they have, the politician will say, you can't do that, because they are thinking of something else. They are thinking of how it will impact votes for them come an election time. Because what the person who's experienced is saying could be the right thing, and it could stop people from doing the things that are detrimental to society. A typical example is this payment thing. The mayor is trying his best to declutter the roads because hawkers are now selling in the roads and it's causing challenges. I wouldn't want to hear that a higher person has told him, stop what you are doing. Because definitely there's going to be a clash somewhere if it's not handled well. Because the people are determined to stay. He's determined to move them. He's given them time to move. They haven't moved because they're saying, you need to find somewhere for us. But when you were coming there, did somebody tell you to come there?
No.
And maybe it's got to do with planning also. For me, this whole entire flooding business has got to do with efficient planning. When we did the long-term national development plan, there's a whole chapter on spatial planning. And we used Tema as an example. When Tema was being built, it was spatially planned. It's only recently you're hearing floods in Tema. Before, you hardly hear floods in Tema. And it's got to do with human activity and how we handle are rubbish. And so, yes, you might have experienced people. The politician will come, probably take that experienced person out, bring someone who's in that experience. That person doesn't know the intricacies of, how to handle a flood. NADMO might not have the resources to help out. So it is something that we need to all sit down and make sure that we plan it well. The people, technical people who are going to be there, the kind of drainage we should have, the amounts of money that we require. Because nowadays, when you want to do something, they say, Abaini Sika, Abaini Sika, Abaini Sika. But you see Abaini sitting in, what do you call it? 4x4s with a motorcade. You see it. Do we not pay for that motorcade? Do we not buy petrol for the, what do you call it? So where is that money coming from? Things should be done for the people. The people vote a government in power for them to take care of the affairs of their country, and they expect positive results from that. And when those positive results aren't coming, it brings challenges. Because it is sad for you to hear people on radio gone through a flood saying, Abayin Meboye. It should be from the district, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's the district who should handle these things.
But district is Abayin, isn't it?
It's Abayin, but they have a certain power, don't they?
They do.
That it shouldn't transcend to, the upper echelons of government. The districts must have the wherewithal. The districts must have the finances. The districts must have that maintenance culture. So come dry season, check all the drains. Look at the drains that need expanding. Expand it. You don't understand why they build a new road and the drain is Chechopwa. You don't understand it. You don't understand it. When the drain should be bigger, because it's leading into some kind of a reservoir or into the sea, it should be able to move the water, to flow. So yes, you might have an experienced person, but if that experienced person is not given the chance to use their experience, then it becomes a problem. And basically, it boils down to the politician.
Osman, let me take your 2 cents on it. And then
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Jantua. I think we need to really look at the drainage system, and the engineers need to also really look at the designs of the drainage system. Because example, for want of a better expression, I can't understand why a bridge that was built like 3-4 years ago
will break down.
So what measurement went into it? And that's the technical people. What went into the design? Because a politician doesn't design the bridges. He doesn't design the drains. His is just to make sure that whatever designs or technical drawings you've brought, he looks for the resources to make sure that it's executed or it's implemented. So it's better for you to even build huge drains that most of the time will be empty than for you to build small drains that would overflow and finally lead into flooding. So I think the technical people need to be up and doing. But for today, I don't want to go into blame game, this ministry, this technical person, but everybody has to be
up and doing. Okay, Kasi.
Well, your question was whether the NADMO should be restructured.
Should depoliticize NADMO?
I'm not sure the problem has to do with the politicization of NADMO or not, because, NADMO comes in after the flood has occurred, not before. So when it comes to NADMO's response, I'm not sure there is so much problem with that. I mean, NADMO, anytime there is a resource, certainly they are going to respond. Maybe they should. It has more to do with collaborating with other state institutions when it comes to even educating those within those catchment areas about leaving the place. Meteo is able to prompt people that, well, we are going to have rains to this measure, this is going to cause flooding. Maybe when it comes to that level of collaboration, I agree. But bottom line, I agree with what Anajanto has said. At the end of the day, you see, we have a governance system that is also worrying us, where we've overly centralized everything. And so, largely what we are having is not really decentralization or local government. What we are having, if you ask me, has more to do with maybe local administration.
Okay.
Where they are just there, more or less like ceremonial, and you may not even have the necessary financial muscles to take charge and precedence and take control and make decisions when it comes to solving and enforcement of some of these basic rules to make sure that we solve some of these perennial problems. Because at the end of the day, if you are really empowered the local governance structures and the local government systems, I am sure would have moved at a pace where we may not necessarily have to rely on central government to mobilize such huge funds, whether millions of dollars, to address this problem. So maybe we should also look at this place. Let's indeed give local governance its true meaning. Empower the local governance system, make sure that they are able to raise monies to address the basic challenges that affect them, i.e. drainage building, i.e. enforcement of laws, when it comes to spatial laws, all other relevant laws or sanitation laws. And we will be able to see that when the cascading effect of each district or each local government or each constituency putting some of these measures, you realize that the cascading effect may reflect in reducing some of these. Other than that, if we all sit here and expect that central government goes and finds some millions of dollars somewhere to address this problem, I'm not sure we'll go anywhere. So I agree that we should also give true meaning to local governance, collaborate more, institutions should collaborate more in the addressing of this menace.
Right. Let's move to our next topic. An issue that borders on constitutional law. A former parliamentary aspirant for Adenta is asking President Mohammed to dissolve the committee that is overseeing the petitions for the removal of the Chief Justice, GHOne. Mr. Jantua, let me start with you again. Yes.
Why?
You are starting
Because he ended.
You start with Osman. He's a government person. He's a government person. He's a government person.
You are senior.
Yeah.
Senior at the bar.
Today I said it's a battle of the Esquires, so let me get your thoughts.
Yeah.
What are you asking me again?
On the removal of the CJ, Adenta Kumi, that's what he's popularly known as. He's a former parliamentary aspirant for Adenta. He says that, well, the committee overseeing the removal for the petitions for the removal of the CJ is compromised because, according to him, they were seen with lawyers for the petitioner, for some of the petitioners, eating at a restaurant. So there's a likelihood
Is this
of
something
bias.
that we have to discuss here?
Is that the legal basis of the petition?
Is this news?
Is that the legal basis of the
Yes.
petition?
Is this news? Is this news? Lady, is this
Is
news?
it not?
Is it
Likelihood
news?
of bias, is it
Looking
not?
at the basis why he is asking for it, is it news?
Is it not?
So, I'm in a case with
Kwesi.
Kwesi or Osman. We have argued in court very strenuously. He's made his point. I've made my point. Judge has adjourned. And because of that, we step outside and we are fighting. Is that what he's telling us? Huh? Court is court. Once we leave court, we are private people. He's my friend, he's my friend. The fact that you see me eating with him doesn't mean that the case is being compromised. Is there not a judge? What is the use of a judge in court?
He claims that he overheard them discussing issues of the petition.
How can we believe what he said? Did he record what he heard? Lily, I don't know why we are discussing this, seriously.
But
Look. There is a process. When a petition is sent to the president for the removal of the Chief Justice, there is a process. The question should be, was that process followed?
yes.
And if that process was followed, shouldn't it come to its logical conclusion? Just because you see lawyers from the opposite sides talking, and even outside the court, the court building, do we not see lawyers on the opposite side talking?
They do.
Even inside they talk.
I know if I were in court with him, and afterwards we came out, both of us will stand and discuss the case. Will we not?
Oh, it's a normal practice.
It's a normal practice.
Even inside.
Even inside.
Sometimes the clients are not happy.
Yes.
Oh, someone cannot
Yeah. So that basis, I don't want to use a certain word. I don't want to use it, so I will not use it. But he should go and educate himself as to the practices of lawyers. Go educate himself. How many times do you see lawyers come out and they are fighting? or insulting each other. It's a practice.
I think when politicians go on platforms after heated shows, they still go out there. and you see them
I
talking.
said Parliament. When they had that row in Parliament, they came out and were sitting down eating together. So, look, that basis, I don't think the basis is tenuous enough for us to even discuss. Just because you've seen two lawyers, what do you call it? Probably he's looking for his own, time to be recognized. What does he do and who is he?
He's a former parliamentary aspirant for Adenta.
Parliamentary aspirant for Adenta. Maybe he's trying to show that I'm still
For the NPP.
I'm still alive. Maybe he's
Oh, so he's still alive.
he's still
That's-
alive.
that's very mean.
Because really, no, I don't understand his basis. His basis is flawed. You said you heard the two lawyers talk about the case. Did the judge tell the two lawyers that don't talk about the case? Was there some kind of order from the judge that this case should only be discussed in my courtroom? Did he hear that? So he heard. Did he record? If he's saying what they said is prejudicial to the case, did he record it? For him to come and play the recording to us? I don't see it. There is a process. Has the process been followed? Yes, the process is being followed. Let it come to an end. And let's see what the verdict of that process is. Period. I really don't see what the comment is. I'm sorry.
Osman. Then we can talk about Dr. Bawumia.
You say it's called Adenta.
You still want to talk about Dr. Bawumia?
Of course, we'll have to talk about Dr. Bawumia.
I'm really surprised we are talking about Adenta Kumi. I think we are even trying to give him oxygen in this fruitless, needless petition of his. And Mr. Jantwa said something, and it just reminded me of a senior colleague. And when my brother said something, it reminded me of a senior colleague. This is a true life story, who after heated argument in court, the lawyer on the other side was actually his classmate. So they came out and they were chatting and they were smiling. And his client took offense and actually reported him to legal counsel. Yes. No, he doesn't trust his lawyer. He suspects his lawyer has gone to cut a deal with the other lawyer because when they closed courts, they were busy chatting and smiling.
So they should be enemies after.
You know, and he actually went to the legal counsel to actually defend himself. He was given a whole lot of hectic time. So, I mean, some of these reports are needless. I mean, assuming even without admitting that you said people were seen eating and you overheard them. I mean, this is needless. This is frivolous. And as Mr. Jantwa said, maybe he's just trying to make himself popular or make himself recognized more in the MPP. Maybe he's trying to catch the eye of Kwesi Kwarteng and the big men in the MPP.
What a big man.
Kwesi Kwarteng's candidate, Kennedy Japan. He's trying to catch his candidate's eye. Maybe he'll make him a campaign.
But if we are catching his eye, we have to take a petition. Come to his house or come to the campaign.
No, he's trying to petition so that people would also recognize that he's working. In opposition, he's working he's working for the party in opposition. So please, Adenta Kumi, I don't even want us to waste so much time. It's much ado about nothing. Adenta Kumi's petition is much ado about nothing. It's just one of those
I've actually
exercises
seen Justice what do you call it? Thaddeus Sorry respond to it on social media that it is a monstrous lie and that there is no such meeting.
If he has the evidence, if he has enough
Did he
proof,
record it?
if he has proof to actually prove that yes, he overheard them and this was the conversation they were having, and it could actually go a long way to jeopardize the outcome of the case, then he's free to bring. But just don't petition based on storytelling. No, if he has the evidence, why not? He should bring it forward.
Because let me take your 2 cents, then we can talk about your friend, Dr. Bawumia.
Well,
Okay, he will speak first on that.
Oh yes, that is why I went to on the legal
But it will
issue.
come back this way.
I am here to represent the MPP, which Dr. Bawumia is part, so don't worry. Well, on the said petition, I am yet to fully, even first of all, see and comprehend the legal basis upon which such a petition is being filed. But you will recall that the Supreme Court had made decisive pronouncements when it comes to the standard of proof of bias, where you have to prove not just speculations, but real likelihood of bias.
Yes.
So that is established, and I'm sure there are authorities to act on his petition. So I will not want to discuss the merit of the petition. But I mean, bottom line is that the whole conversation boils down to the removal of the CJ, which I have made several arguments. I mean, Nana Jantua said that it's done within the remit of the law, but I mean, I hold an exception to that. That if you recall what Montesquieu said, he said the worst form of tyranny is the one that is done under the guise of the law in the name of justice, which I am of the opinion that we should hasten slowly when it comes to attacking such institutions, because if we are not very careful, we may rely on Article 146 under the name of Article 146, under the umbrella of Article 146, and rewrite the Constitution to construe the office of the Chief Justice to be an appointee of the President, which would be a dangerous precedent for all of us to set.
An individual brought a petition.
Yes.
So shouldn't the President take
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that if you want to be extremely legalistic, I've made a case on this platform that bad laws are also laws, and if you may even have good laws which may be abused. It's a more reason why even the Constitution talks about the application of discretionary powers and gives a threshold as how it's being applied. So even the Constitution envisages that when it comes to, let's say, the suspension of the Chief Justice, recall that in the whole process, if you look at 146, 8 or 11, when it comes to the suspension, it doesn't use shall, it uses may. So, I mean, there is that possibility that it can be abused. Nana Jantua, if you agree with me, slave trade was backed by law, human sacrifice at some point was backed by law, apartheid was backed by law. So if the logic is that because it's written within the law and that it is being followed, I just have a news for you, that there has been situations where the law has justified wrongdoings, and the law has been a basis to even perpetuate injustice. And I see, same. My point is that I've always been biased towards protection of state institutions and certain individuals. I've set an example of Dotumfo, that prior to the 2024 elections, he was vilified, almost his reputation brought down by people on social media. But today, we needed him to also mediate when it comes to the Boko conflict and Boko crisis. So we should be very careful and very mindful and hasten slowly. When it comes to, for instance, the judiciary, it doesn't have arms, they don't have guns, they don't have ammunition. It thrives on the trust and the confidence that we repose in them. And all other sectors of our economy, all other sectors of our livelihood, being it business, being it safety, being it security, is placed in the judiciary. So if you are not very careful and we reduce the premium and the value that we place on the judiciary, I'm not sure it will augur well for all of us. I've heard other counter-arguments that if people did worse by removing Charlotte Osei. And I maintain that if the removal of the current CJ is to avenge that of Charlotte Osei, then it lacks merit even in the first place. So you should be very careful. But as to, I think I didn't even want to miss the trust of the matter. For me, the trust of the matter is more substantial too, as a supposed petition. It doesn't also necessarily mean that I'm rubbishing his petition. I have not read it. I believe that same will be addressed. Same will be addressed. But
he doesn't want to talk about the apology. He's talking so much about the petition.
Which apology?
It's okay. We are done with the petition. Let's go into the apology.
Move from the main topic.
He has set his own question and he's answering.
We will discuss it.
You people are gagging me. I don't feel safe. I feel abused. I feel gagged. Host, you need to protect me. That's not what I signed for this morning. You need to protect me.
I am protecting you. That's what I'm talking about.
I feel gagged. You need to protect me.
His own questions.
All the way at it. He also said, I'm done talking.
Yes. No, they are gagging me.
But you said you are done talking.
They are not pretending to be the host.
You apology.
Smuggling in new topics. Why?
Apology. You
Why are you smuggling in new topics? Are you the host?
You apologize. Let's go.
I'm listening to you.
Make sure you watch his Bawumia presentation, because he will change it. Go somewhere.
Anyway, are you done with your submission?
Yes, I'm done. What is your next question? I thought you were going to start from here.
No,
anyway.
I want to start from here.
Me. Hey, pass my bank.
Let's talk about Dr. Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia has apologized to his party and Ghanaians for the defeat of the NPP and has assured that the NPP will return to power in 2028. He did the same during the NPP thank you tour in Goso. And does it appear that Dr. Bawumia is also on an apology spree? Was that not the first thing he should have done during the thank you tour? Instead of a thank you tour, an apology tour?
I know where Ayariga and my uncle GHOne is arriving at. And I insist, they want to gag me.
I have asked you a question.
I know, I'm coming, I'm answering. I'm laying a foundation. And even as I speak, they are marking me. knowing very well that I represent Ken, I'm the face of his campaign. And so they are trying to get something that will be off my presentation. But look, bottom line is that I am first a member of the New Patriotic Party.
Absolutely.
Before I aligned with any person.
Who is also a member of the NPP?
Yes, who is a member of the MPP. Of course, it is not in dispute that when it comes to the 2028 general elections, and of course our impending primaries, it is not in dispute that I've openly endorsed the candidature of the Honorable Kennedy Japan. But I am also mindful that I'm within a party and we have rules and regulations. And as at now, I am here on the ticket of the party not to promote my candidate or my ally any candidate.
Not to state that you are connected.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, for connected, I'm connected. But I mean, to the substantive issue, I am of the view that what Dr. Bawumia did was right, is in order. There comes a time where leadership, you have to demonstrate leadership by accepting responsibility and looking into the face of the people that gave you the opportunity and say that, yes, we made series of promises. Everybody that comes into power, you campaign based on certain policies and ideas. And based on that policies and ideas, the good people of Ghana votes for you. Certainly, I mean, there are some that you're able to fulfill. There are some that you are also unable to fulfill. There are even situations where you may even have to make very unpopular decisions. You recall the DDEP, you recall the E-levy. These are all unpopular decisions. And I'm not sure any government was comfortable doing that. But those were decisions that were relevant within the exigencies of the moment. We've passed that stage. The good people of Ghana who gave the mandate believe that we should set aside for other people to continue. Reasonably, there are two things that is expected of you. First of all, you take responsibility by apologizing to them, saying you are sorry, and secondly, also thanking them for the mandate that they gave to you. And I am of the view that that is what the former flag bearer and former Vice President Dr. Bawumia has done. So for me, it's in the right order. I mean, it's not only him, the entire party has made such a call. I recall when we were also even on the thank you tour, similar calls were made by other people, hopefuls. The Honorable Ken himself also made a similar call, also apologizing. The entire party has also made same. Even if you look at our posture, our conduct, certainly, it marks that of people who are apologetic. And please, I mean, I know you play me safe with that, but it's also very natural. You see, don't let us pretend that this is only happening to the MPP. You see, at the end of the day, if you recall, just some 8 years back, we had similar comments from the NDC as well. Because at the end of the day, the expectations are that very wild. The same basis and the same reasons upon which even successive governments were removed, even from the military era till now, are the same fundamental reasons upon which governments are removed. On matters of unemployment, on matters of solving galaxy, on matters of solving them. So our challenges are many. But just that when you come in, you may not be able to solve all of them. You do your part and leave. But bottom line is that you take responsibility, become a leader, speak like a leader, and say that, look, this place, things did not go well. I'm not sure this is the first time this happened. President Mohammed also the same. Even for him, he even have to tell Ghanaians that he has changed. He's a new person. And even have to be rebranded. Mohammed is the hope. Today we believe same. So we'll come back very stronger.
So So you believe that you're going to rebrand Dr. Bawumia for 2028?
What kind of tricky question is that?
You lay a premise. You said President
When I
Mahama
use
was
we,
The
I
man
was-
wants to rebrand Ken. Why are you?
No,
I'm
Bawumia.
asking.
Whether we are going to rebrand Bawumia. Well, it is not in dispute that Dr. Bawumia himself will contest. If you look at his conduct, his public statements, his remarks, certainly he will contest. But you see, we are in a party of rule of law. We are in a party of democracy. As at now, we are looking at about 230,000 delegates, polling station executives. We may even be considering expansion, which is a matter of necessity, which may double up to about 3. So closely about 700,000 people will decide. So I am sure everybody will rebrand himself, whether Kennedy Japan, whether Bawumia. My former boss and still my boss, Dr. GHOne. I'm also aware Dr. Bawumia will also contest. At the end of the day, people will decide. So yes, the
But
party
I am wondering why you
itself
didn't
need to
support
rebrand.
your former boss, though.
My former boss. Yes, I believe in him. I believe he's capable of leading the MPP, just like all the other candidates. But within the exigencies of the moment, the present time, I am of the view that if the caveat has more to do with who can win as power in 2028, I am of the view that Ken has another advantage to getting us 2028. Maybe subsequently, all the other candidates may come in. But for now,
And if
I'm
he
of the
doesn't
view.
win, you throw your support behind anybody else.
Come again?
If he doesn't win?
I mean, as a party person, you have no option.
Okay.
People never supported Dr. Bawumia, but when he won, even Ken himself supported him when after the primaries. Just so anybody who wins will all support him. But for me, what we are most interested now is not even about the flag bearership. It's about demanding accountability from our people. Because yes, we are Ghanaians, we are members in the opposition, but we need to demand accountability from what they promise. Are they solving Dumso? Are they solving Galamsey? The unemployment issue? These are practical things that they have to address. Today we are talking about flooding. These are things that they have to address. It's also not a way to be dismissive about the reality that we are confronted with. But even when it comes to the conversation about MPP, our position is that the party need to be rebranded. The party need to, and to borrow their words, reset, not now their current reset, the true meaning of a reset.
So now you want your party to be reset?
No, I mean, certainly every...
You say you're upgrading, now you want to reset?
Certainly every party that goes into opposition has to reset. You need to reset before you upgrade and promote the peace and harmony in the, and unity in the party. And we'll come
In the
back
spirit
stronger.
of reset, sorry to cut, in the spirit of resetting, are you then going to make public the Okoye report to members of your party, grassroots people? Because if it's sitting on a shelf, how then do people know that, okay, this is where we went wrong, so this is how we can write it?
I think for me, the most important thing is to implement the recommendations within the Okoye report. There are some reports that will be classified. If you recall that of, is it Mr. Butcher, Kwesi Butcher's report? It was also a classified information. You see, in Akan, we say ENC and Tuma Gofinya, the Elbonten. There are some, I mean, considering the political realities, sometimes you don't put your head on the line like that and give a cutlass to your opponent. We know what these people can do with it. Remember, they started page 66. They quoted page 66 for like 100 times. With different content. And we did the same to them. We did the same to them. Those are so some of the other aspects with the political realities that we are confronted with. But bottom line is that yes, there is a report. The report acknowledges the factors that caused our defeat. The report also acknowledges our strength.
Was Dr. Bawumia principal in your defeat?
I have not read the report myself. I do not want to impugn one person as causing the defeat. What I believe in is for all of us to take responsibility as a party. When we rise together. When we fall together. I know where you are taking me to. I mean, the time for the internal politics will come. but for now, let's protect it small. Let's protect it. I don't think the reports may pinpoint one person, but it may be a number of factors that may have caused the defeat. But I'm sure the report covers same and has given recommendations to it for us to address. Won't you ask the other people questions?
I asked because there was a write-up you did, but I'll come back to that later on
Which
Dr.
write-up?
Bawumia.
You can.
No, I want to pull it up
Lily,
on
religion.
Dr. Bawumia. On Dr. Bawumia.
It's on religion.
Yes, so I'll pull that up. But
Very well.
let me take I'll take your submission, but I need to take this quick break. You're welcome back from that break. Now, Savannah Paint is 100 years. There's the parent company, Azar Group, is 100 years, producing paint since 1921. We created Savannah Paint in both acrylic emulsion and oil to give you great coverage at an unbeatable price. We all go paint some. Whether you are a beginner, amateur, or professional painter, just choose Savannah Paint. It's everybody's paint. We give you best value for money. Paint more, pay less. Savannah Paint. We all go paint some. For more information, contact 055 5333 3888, 055 5333 3888, or simply go on to our website www.azarchemicalindustries.com. Now, let me tell you how you can make some good money, or you can simply enjoy a trip to Dubai. Celebrate 40 years with us in our Star Assurance 40 Reasons to Smile promo. From now till the end of the year, you could be one of our many lucky winners to walk away with a whopping 10,000 cedis in quarterly draws and the grand prize of enjoying the luxurious Dubai city. To participate, visit our online portal at customer.starassurance.com, customer.starassurance.com, or you can simply call us 0302 751 333, 0302 751 333 to buy or renew your existing motor insurance policy, or you can also walk into any of our branches nationwide. Be a lucky winner today. Star Assurance, we are your solid partner. Now, Sankofa Natural Spices is offering you a range of packaging sizes to suit your everyday cooking needs, including 5 grams, 25 grams, and then 240-gram options. For those of you who say they don't eat spices, garlic, ginger, fomwisa, inkitin, and surisa are all ingredients which has been grounded and put into the sachets for your convenience, so you don't have to be chewing chunks of spices. Find Sankofa Natural Spices in most supermarkets or corner shops, markets nationwide. For inquiries or bulk purchases, you can simply call us on 055 560 3143, 055 560 3143. Let's come back and talk about Dr. Bawumia. Osman.
Yes, Lily, the hallmark of every leader should be primarily honesty. You should be honest in everything that you do. For me, where I sit and the kind of apology I see emanating from Bawumia, I do not see honesty. I still see dishonesty even in his apology. Why do I say this? First and foremost, why is Dr. Bawumia apologizing? And who is he apologizing to? And what is the intent of that apology? You realize Bawumia is apologizing to his MPP members, and he's apologizing to them because he's trying to seek re-election. Bawumia should be apologizing to the good people of this country. Bawumia should be apologizing to Ghanaians. Bawumia should be apologizing to the thousands of pensioners who suffered and some died as a result of the DDEP. Bawumia should be apologizing to the youth of this country after he failed them through NAPCO. Bawumia should be apologizing to the youth of this country when they disappointed the youth by that program called You Start. Bawumia should be apologizing to the youth of this country for not giving them jobs, and apologizing to the youth of this country for burdening us with e-levy and betting tax and all the taxes that has put us through suffering and pain. He should be apologizing to Ghanaians for taking us through that excruciating pain and hardship. He should be apologizing to us first. But what has he done? He has conveniently forgotten about us Ghanaians, that he made us go through this hardship for the last 8 years under the MPP. And is conveniently apologizing only to the MPP members because he is seeking re-election. This is the hallmark of dishonesty. Bawumia is simply being dishonest. He's just looking for ways and means to seek re-election within the MPP. And for that, for us Ghanaians, we will not sit aloof and allow Bawumia to deceive us once again. If you look at the trajectory and the way Bawumia is going, this is akin or analogous to the acts of a con artist to deceive people so as to go in a particular
I don't think
way.
that's a fair comment. The con artist,
But,
I don't think
no,
it's a
but
fair
who is a
comment.
con artist? A con artist is someone who comes out to deceive you. And
No,
he's
but
deceiving Ghanaians once again.
It's not a,
He's
it's not a
deceiving
fair comment.
Ghanaians once again.
No,
I don't
think
know
you
where
may
you
disagree
decide
with
to
him.
look at it in terms of
He was
con
quiet when you
artists.
were making
Yes,
your point,
you can Google what a con artist is. Con artist is someone, if I come here and I decide to deceive you to do something in a way that I want you to do it, knowing that I am being dishonest, I am being a con artist.
Okay.
And that is where I'm deriving that word from. So he's trying to deceive Ghanaians, deceive the good people of the MPP that he is changed, when in actual fact, he hasn't changed. He should come out and be very honest and apologize to the good people of Ghana. He should apologize to us and even be congratulating the NDC. Bawumia should be apologizing to us due to his inability to even manage the currency and be congratulating the likes of Ato Fawcett. You remember Bawumia saying the strong economic management team, Professor John Bafwa, Akoto say, Alan Tremantin, strong economic management team. What that 7-member committee headed by Dr. Bawumia couldn't do, one man Ato Fawcett has done it.
Hey,
within
take your
5
time,
months.
take your
so
time.
Please, when you are talking, allow me
He was
to
quiet.
land.
Please allow him.
Allow me to land.
Before they
What
say, I don't
Bawumia
support
did-
Bawumia.
No.
That's
what
why.
Bawumia
But when you
couldn't
were
do,
talking,
yes,
he was quiet.
what Bawumia and his 7-member economic management team couldn't do, Ato Fawcett has done within 5-6 months. So Bawumia should be apologizing to Ghana and congratulating the likes of Ato Fawcett. Bawumia should be apologizing to Ghanaians and congratulating His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. That is what he should be doing. There we can now understand the sincerity of his apology. But if he's still going on this tangent of trying to deceive the MPP members, I think the MPP members are wide awakened and they should know that what Bawumia is doing and the theatrics, again, is all about dishonesty. And I'll repeat again, the theatrics and the dishonesty are all, attributes of someone who's trying to be a con artist. So if I say he's been a con artist because he's trying to deceive the MPP, deceive Ghanaians, that he's a changed man now, and for that matter, he's apologized. Bawumia's apology is a very dishonest apology, and Ghanaians will not take that apology. You should come and apologize to us, and not go to UK and go and apologize to MPP members in the UK. You should come and sit down and tell us, Ghanaians, I'm sorry. A, B, C, D. We took you through this hardship. We're unable to manage the currency. We're unable to manage the economy. We're unable to give you jobs. We're unable to meet your expectations. We are sorry to industry. Then Ghanaians will listen to his apology.
We give you more time than me.
But for you to go and apologize to MPP members because your primaries is just around the corner and you are trying to seek re-election, he's been very dishonest about his apology. And I don't think Ghanaians will take Bawumia and his apology seriously.
Mr. Janta.
He had more time than me.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
He wishes I was even giving more time. He wishes I was even giving more time.
What do you mean?
Mr. Janta, please
What
make
do you
your point.
mean?
He wants to give me more time.
He had more time than me. I'm
Don't
drawing
worry,
your
Mr.
attention
Jansa, please
that I'm
make
not
it.
being treated fairly.
Really, what do you want me to say? The people of Ghana made the decision. We don't want you because you have done things wrong. At the time, you thought you were doing things right. No matter what was said, you decided, no, we'll stick to that. The good thing here is that the scepter of Akufo-Addo would not haunt Bawumia. Hopefully. Hopefully. Because what did he say to us? The driver's mate. So the scepter of Akufo-Addo would be away. Whether that scepter of Akufo-Addo will still haunt him is the challenge. What did he say? We got many things wrong. Please forgive us. At the time, did he not see it? At the time, did he not realize they were getting things wrong? And if he did, what did he do to rectify it? He cannot use this excuse to now let us feel that he's a changed person. It's not going to be easy. Because the stalwarts within the MPP who are also interested, including his candidate, who are also interested in standing, would tell him the MPP government has never in its history been defeated with this majority. So really and truly, we don't think that if we put you up again, there's no guarantee that you might win. However, there are others in line who, their supporters, might GHOne, like his candidate. That's why he finds it difficult saying things that might tilt the thought of people to his candidate. Yes, he's an MPP guy. Because he's an MPP person. He's one of the MPP people who are discretional and who say things as it is, whether it affects the party or... There are a number of MPP people in the party who do that. And I bet your bottom city, if Kwesi wasn't aligned, you would see his true thoughts about what happened 2024. I believe that, yes, Dr. Bawumia will stand again. He has made comment that in Ghanaian political history, you might come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before you are accepted. He has been with us since 2008. How many years? He doesn't need to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. He is known. Whether the people of Ghana feel he would be the right person to take over. And remember, it also depends on how President Mohammed's tenure turns out for Ghanaians. If Ghanaians feel President Mohammed has done a good job, irrespective of who takes over from him, it would help the party come back into power.
Right.
It is when people feel, and this is where the crossroads would happen, and this is where his party would have to decide whether they should take Bawumia or someone else. If President Mohammed is not able to show to the people of Ghana that he's achieved the promises he gave Ghanaians.
Right.
If he's able to do that, and somebody takes over, and I always use my party as an example. Who was Liman? Who knew Liman? Who was the one? Who were the ones who campaigned for Liman to win? It was the old guard. My father and Igala and those guys. They campaigned for Liman to win. Liman was nobody. Nobody knew him. So it doesn't really matter whether there's a new guy coming on in NDC's shoes. Because if the people feel good work has been done, the promises given have been done, Ghana has been able to turn around, the cedi has continuously been stable, inflation has dropped, jobs are working, people have jobs, education is going well, agriculture is going well, health is going well, transportation is going well, energy is going well. Why would Ghanaians say we are changing? That is where the battle would be as to whether Bawumia comes or Bawumia doesn't come. Because there would be a huge road to travel. And it could also happen. It could, and I never, ever take that out of the equation. It could also happen that come 2028, then Nkrumah's sides to decide to, this time we are coming strong. That would be a battle. If they get the right person, if they can prove to the people of Ghana that we are ready for governance, it would not be easy. And that would also put pressure on whether, based on 2024 election, whether Dr. Bawumia would be the right person for the job. So, it's open season. Right now, at this point, yeah, you can say anything. Because we are not even close to 2028 election. But as it draws nearer, and the, what do you call it, of the NDC and other political parties, that is where GHOne is starting. So, let's see. He's at liberty, and I'm glad that he's been able to apologize. But the apology for me is neither here nor there, because Ghanaians have told you, we did not like what you said, we don't like what you do, we don't like the way you ruled us. So, out, let another party come in. So let's see.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Oh, not even.
Oh, you have a rebuttal?
Oh, just a quick one.
Okay, sure.
From the news headline that the producer says, he said, "We got many things wrong. Please forgive us." Bawumia begs Ghanaians. So I don't think he was necessarily really addressing MPP UK chapter alone, because I'm not sure. I mean, how many are they? If the logic is that he's doing that,
But
for
they're
the
also
purpose of
Ghanaians.
election.
Okay.
Yes, they're also Ghanaians. So
yeah.
I'm landing. Or I don't have the time. I'm landing.
Oh, go ahead and land. Yeah.
I think Mr. Ayariga also spoke about the fact that Atoforsen single-handedly brought down the dollar. First of all, understand that, I mean, you know this, you are IC, you know that government is not spending. So when you are having some of these conversations,
Do you want us to go into that?
No, you should. Hold on.
No,
Respectfully.
if you want us to go into that, that's for another. If you want
but
us
there
to
was
go
a
into
point that he made. There was a
That's-
point that he
If
made.
you want us to go into the CD,
hold on.
if you want, we can. Because if he speaks to the CD, I won't have the time to rebut.
On the CD dollar depreciation.
If you want to speak to that,
No, he made that
if you
point.
never
He made
go
that
into
point.
that,
He made that point.
I didn't talk about CD
Osman,
dollar.
please
No,
allow
you
me.
said that.
Osman,
But
please.
just fundamental. It's not only about the CD.
Osman, please allow me. What point did he make that you want to rebut?
He made a point that Dr. Bawumia, with all the 7-member economic management team, failed with the stabilization of the city. And it has taken only Atoforsen to stabilize. And that's what I wanted to just draw his attention to.
Okay.
The point that...
So.
No, but if he speaks to this, I will have to rebut.
No, you made the point.
You made the point, so he just wants to
You made
rebut.
the point.
I didn't narrow it down.
I am out
to-
of time.
You made the point.
Please, I'm out of time. Just 1 minute.
No, first of all, I mean, beyond even the external factors, I just want him to come in tell that first of all, government has not spent. You've never done procurement, you've not paid contract staff, so certainly you've not spent.
Okay.
Second, no, that's not the point. The point has to do with the gold reserves that they've been able to sell to stabilize the city.
You see, you're going
We're
to another whole topic.
We're not talking about.
Right? If you will have to also come, I have to come in and speak to it.
You see, Lily, don't make
You
it.
let's concentrate.
Don't make it look like
on your apology.
No,
Osman, please allow me.
Lily,
You're introducing
I'm
a
not.
new
I'm not.
topic.
If you don't want me to comment, I'm fine. But don't. I just want to make a point that don't make it look like we are rigid about conversations.
No, we are not.
At the end of the day, it's one point we do this together. You lay a foundation.
You are now
You lay a
introducing.
foundation.
I told you I gave you 1 minute.
When
because my
somebody
time is up.
talks about a CD depreciation, you have to let him understand the factors that is prevailing at the
Okay.
moment.
You
I'm not
have
even
30
speaking.
seconds.
No, I'm not speaking on it. Thank you. Let's
Okay, fine. My producer has even alerted me that we
not
have to
speaking
go.
on it.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
You continuously gag me with your panelists, and I'm not happy. Why do you bring me here to gag you? It's not fair. Is that how you treat members in opposition? Is that how you treat members in opposition? We will come to power one day.
It's a leading member of the Convention People's Party. Osman Ayariga is the CEO of the National Youth Authority, and Kwesi Kwasi is a member of the NPP Communications.
He should be
and
apologizing.
a leading member of
Dr.
the
Bawumia
Ken
done that
campaign. He says he's connected. We're back after this breather. Stay tuned in.